I have walked long through the corridors of time, and I have seen empires rise upon the bones of men who could not master their hunger. The strength of a man is not measured by the weight of his sword, nor by the reach of his dominion, but by the depth of his restraint. In every age, temptation has changed its form, yet its essence remains the same, a whisper to abandon the throne of self for the fleeting warmth of indulgence. I have learned that the seed within man is not merely fleshly matter, it is the condensed sun, the essence of will and creation, a sacred reservoir from which all power, all clarity, and all destiny emerge. To waste it thoughtlessly is to drain the kingdom of its light, to abandon the fortress of being for the illusions of pleasure. Thus I call the one who preserves his essence the unspent king. For his power is neither squandered nor subdued, it is stored, refined, and transformed into silent authority. When I first learned to guard my essence, it was not through doctrine but through despair. The world around me was drunk on desire, chasing shadows that vanish with dawn, mistaking stimulation for connection and lust for love. I saw men lose their vigor, their voice, their vision, not by external defeat but by internal surrender. The moment a man chases pleasure without purpose, he becomes a slave to the very thing he sought to control. Yet when he restrains, when he redirects, his energy ascends like smoke toward the heavens, illuminating his mind, sharpening his perception, and deepening his soul. In the fire of withheld release, I discovered a law older than kings, that retention is not repression, but refinement. The unspent seed becomes the philosopher's stone, transmuting carnal fire into spiritual gold. I speak now to those who have tasted defeat at the altar of desire. Do not despise your weakness. Study it, for temptation is the teacher of strength, and the body, when mastered, becomes a vessel of divine precision. Every urge that arises is a messenger, reminding you of your potential, of the energy that demands direction. The ignorant man expels it and feels momentary ease. The wise man channels it and feels eternal ascent. The unspent king does not run from temptation. He stands before it, still and unwavering, allowing the storm to break upon him without bending. From that stillness emerges the iron will, unshakable and bright, forged in the furnace of self. There came a time when I understood that the seed is more than vitality. It is memory, intelligence, and spirit bound in living form. In it lies the echo of generations, the silent archive of creation. When preserved, it refines the blood, strengthens the heart, and sharpens the mind's mirror until it can reflect truth without distortion. Retention, then, is a dialogue with eternity. Each act of mastery deepens the bond between the man and the divine within him. The world may see in him only calmness, but beneath that calm lies thunder. His speech carries weight because his words are backed by stored energy. His silence radiates presence because his mind and flesh move in harmony. The unspent king rules not through noise, but through vibration, a resonance that alters the air around him. The temptation of the modern world is abundance without purpose. The body is bombarded, the mind distracted, and the soul numbed. To withhold one's energy in such a climate is rebellion of the highest order, not against others, but against decay. To be unspent in a world that rewards indulgence is to be sovereign amidst slaves. When I began to withdraw from the endless consumption of pleasure, I felt first the pangs of emptiness, the restless ache of unexpressed desire. Yet, in time, that ache became a drumbeat of power, echoing through my veins, urging me toward creation, mastery, and vision. The unspent king learns that his energy, when contained, becomes self-renewing. It does not diminish, it multiplies. Through restraint, one enters into communion with the forces of nature. The lion does not roar without purpose. The river does not flood without reason. Likewise, the man who retains learns to move with intention. His emotions no longer govern him, they serve him. His thoughts no longer scatter, they focus. In him, the chaotic elements of the psyche unite into a single flame. The energy once spent in pursuit of transient pleasures now fuels his purpose, art, discipline, and influence. Women feel his presence before he speaks. Men respect him without understanding why. This is the radiance of the unspent king, the aura of stored power, the natural dominance of one who governs himself completely. As months became years, I learned that energy follows awareness, and wherever a man's mind dwells, there his strength flows. To think constantly of indulgence is to leak unseen vitality. But to fix the mind upon purpose is to forge a current that feeds creation itself. The retained essence refines thought, steadies the emotions, and calls forth a clarity that cannot be found in the restless or the exhausted. When I began to hold my power in silence, I noticed that the world grew quieter around me. I spoke less, yet was understood more deeply. I acted less, yet accomplished more fully. The seed of life, guarded within, became a quiet sun at the center of my being, radiating patience, confidence, and discernment. This, I realized, is how a man becomes luminous, not by seeking light, but by ceasing to scatter it. Temptation never dies. It transforms. It comes not only through the body, but through ambition, vanity, and distraction. The unspent king must therefore remain vigilant, for the serpent of desire changes skins but never nature. To rule over one's energy is to rule over one's perception, and to rule perception is to rule destiny. There are days when the heart grows weary, when the call of comfort whispers like a forgotten lover. Yet it is in those moments that strength is reborn. Every victory over the self is a coronation. Every fall, a reminder that the crown of mastery must be claimed anew each dawn. I have learned to greet my urges as I would a messenger from the divine, bowing neither in submission nor scorn, but listening to what they reveal about my remaining ignorance. Through this, I learned humility before power and patience before pleasure. In time, I began to feel that the energy I guarded was not solely mine. It belonged to something greater, a universal current of life that flows through all beings. To retain is to cooperate with this current, to allow it to circulate upward through the centers of awareness. Awakening insight, compassion, and strength. Many men fear that restraint will diminish them, but the opposite is true. The more one preserves, the more the inner world expands. Creativity flourishes. Intuition awakens. Vision becomes clear as morning air. The face grows radiant, the eyes magnetic, for they are windows to a soul that burns steadily rather than flickers. This inner abundance spills naturally into work, love, and art. Thus, the unspent king does not hoard his power. He channels it toward the creation of order and beauty, becoming a living bridge between matter and spirit. Those who mock restraint do so because they have never tasted the sweetness of control. They mistake addiction for freedom and indulgence for joy. But joy is a still flame, not a wildfire. It grows brighter when tended, not when consumed. I have watched those who scatter their essence age before their time. Eyes dulled, posture bent, will eroded, their laughter hides fatigue, their confidence crumbles when tested. And I have seen those who keep their seed rise from obscurity to greatness, guided by invisible hands. Their presence commands without effort. Their words calm storms. They are not perfect, but they are present, fully awake, fully alive. They carry the authority of those who have mastered themselves, and in their quiet strength lies the power to awaken others. The unspent king does not preach. His existence is the sermon. In the long nights of contemplation, I have asked myself whether this path is for all men. The answer, whispered from within, is yes, but few will walk it. For the way of retention is not glamorous. It is demanding. It requires a man to confront his shadows, to live without constant validation, to stand alone when others yield. Yet the reward is beyond measure. The one who persists becomes unshakable. He no longer fears rejection, failure, or loss, for his worth is drawn from an inexhaustible inner source. He becomes a fountain of vitality, a pillar of clarity, a vessel of creative fire. The world bends subtly around his intention, because he moves in harmony with the invisible laws of life. He has become what the ancients called the man complete unto himself, the king who spends nothing in vain. Now, as I gaze upon the generations yet to come, I see a world drowning in its own excess, and I know that the teaching of the unspent king must rise again. The power of retained energy is the remedy for an age of distraction, the light for men lost in endless stimulation. To master the seed is to master the self. To master the self is to reclaim the world. I speak not of suppression, but of sacred direction, to take the fire of desire and lift it upward until it becomes illumination. Let those who hear these words remember, sovereignty begins within. Guard your essence as you would a crown, for it is the emblem of your kingship. Use it not to conquer others, but to awaken the God within. Then, even amid temptation, your presence will remain unbroken, your will iron, your aura golden, and the world will know, by your stillness, that the unspent king has returned. Before we conclude, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to drop your location in the comments. I'd love to know where you are watching from. And if you ever have any questions, join our Telegram channel where we interact directly and help each other grow. The link is in the description. Please share video to your dear one. Have a powerful day.